I've been doing this blog thing for a long time now, this podcast thing for a long time, over 10 years in the game, and obviously I've been chronicling the Mets and the Jets and the Knicks, and I have been a bastion of pessimistic negativity throughout all my years. And I have been overdramatic, I have been exaggerating, and I have been overly negative. But I've been telling the truth all this time. And I have been representing that fan base of those three teams, the Mets, Jets, and the Knicks, as honestly and as real as anybody else out there. And my sense of humor has always been one of it's been dark, it's been bleak, and over the years there's been a lot of times where I perhaps have told myself or others to kill themselves. And so there's been a lot of drama over the years. There's been a lot of, especially in recent years, there are people who don't have the same sense of humor as me. There are people who relate those jokes and that dramatic take on sports fandom to cyberbullying and true suicide, and people who think that kill yourself jokes and suicide, this and that, is bad and mean and evil and not funny, and no one should laugh about it. And so I've taken some heat over the years for two things. One, being over dramatic about my teams. A lot of fan bases have been out here saying they've got it just as bad. They've got it worse. What are you complaining about? Try being a blank fan. Try being a Pirates fan. Try being a Kansas fan. Try being this fan, that fan. And I always argue back that there's nothing worse than being the redheaded stepchild in New York City. Because on top of all of the losing that we do as Mets, Jets, and Knicks fans, the X factor is that just across town, you have the Giants and the Yankees. At least, hey, the Nets are nothing. The Knicks, we're all suffering together. But when the Yankees are a dynasty and the Giants are winning multiple titles and the Mets and Jets fans are across town losing, pulling their hair out, it's a double whammy. It's twice as bad because you're behind enemy lines in your own city. And so I've been getting shit on for that, and I've been getting shit on for any time I joke around about how I'm going to kill myself or how any fans of this team should kill themselves. And then this week, something happened. Along comes an up-and-coming comedian in New York City. Along comes a comedian you may have heard of, a TV superstar by the name of Larry David. Larry puts out a new episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm that is everything I am put into one episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It is being a Jets fan and kill yourself jokes all combined into one. That right there is the sound of validation, my friends. That right there is everything I've been talking about for a decade. And sometimes people don't believe me. Sometimes they think that I'm a lowly blogger. I'm just a writer or a podcaster for Barstool Sports. Who am I, right? Why should we listen to him? Why is he the authority on these teams and on these jokes? Well, maybe you're not going to listen to me, but maybe you'll listen to Larry David. Maybe you'll listen to Curb Your Enthusiasm. When Larry David, in the 10th season of Curb, when they've been grandfathered in, and he is so successful with two all-time immortal TV franchises in the industry, when he's at a point in his career where he can say and do whatever he wants, he is, to quote Jamie O'Grady from The Cauldron, beyond reproach. For him to be doing that segment, I think has proven everything I've been talking about for a decade straight. That it is that disappointing to root for a team like the Jets or the Mets and a little bit of the Knicks. And that it is funny. That's a funny fucking premise to think that someone would kill themselves over the New York Jets. And everyone tells me, one day, KFC, something's going to happen. And someone's actually going to do something. and that you're going to regret it because that blood's going to be on your hands and all this dramatic shit. If someone out there actually kills themselves because I said so, well, they should have killed themselves. If you're going to kill yourself because a blogger says to kill yourself, then kill yourself. I've been preaching nothing but the truth with these teams, and I've been telling you for the longest. My mom has always said sleep is the only escape. And if you really want to get technical about it, the only true escape is straight up eternal sheets. Just console yourself. That's the only way you're going to escape these teams. They're never going to win, and they're never going to change. So, what's the option? There's only one. Carl did it. He couldn't take any more disappointment. The fact that Larry David, of all people, and Curb Your Enthusiasm, of all shows, basically just turned into an episode of the goddamn Jets. I mean, I would like to extend a formal invitation to Larry David to come on season 4 of the goddamn Jets. If there's one person on the planet Earth who can rant and scream about this backwards-ass franchise better than I can, it's Larry David. I mean, he needs, like, I would gladly just pass the torch. Like, if Larry David for some reason wanted to stoop as low as being an asshole Jets blogger like me, he would absolutely crush the goddamn Jets. Imagine him week in and week out, up to the minute, like, updates on what's going on every time the circus is in fucking town. He is the greatest example of bitter, jaded, fucked up Jets fandom. And he's writing it into his goddamn show. I have to personally thank Larry David for not only proving me and vindicating everything I've been saying about these teams. It's like, if you don't believe me, maybe the fact that Larry David will put it in his all-time television show will signal to you that it is that much worse being a Jets fan and a Mets fan and a Knicks fan. There's something extra about it when you're in New York City, when you have all the money in the world, when you have billionaire owners, when you see examples of success right across town, and somehow not only are you not a winning franchise, you're also 3 of the most embarrassing franchises in all of sports. So yes, there's something extra and there's something special about it in all the worst ways. And Larry David's proof positive of it. And then from a comedy point of view, the fact that in the year 2020, in the year of our Lord 2020, that Larry David is just doing an entire episode joking around about someone killing themselves, it's fucking incredible. The balls, I don't even know if you can call it balls, because I don't think Larry David writes that script and does that episode and puts it out like, oh boy, like, what's going to happen? What's the reception going to be on this one? I think he just drops a heater, knows it's fucking funny, knows he's so good at this, so hilarious, so well-respected, and so successful that no one's going to say a word about it. It's not like, he's not getting protested. He's not getting canceled. Logan Paul goes to the suicide forest. Dude's been climbing back out of that hole ever since. I even mention it, I get suspended from Twitter. I'm probably going to get suspended from Twitter for this somehow. If I get one more strike for any sort of quote-unquote hate speech, as they call it, I think I'm suspended, like, for life. I'm on strike, like, 3, 4, 5 at this point. Nobody in this society, in this industry, is even allowed to touch the subject. If I tell you to kill yourself, I got mothers coming at me. I've got groups coming at me. Charities are mad at me. You can't even say the words anymore. I can't even do the abbreviations. I said KMS and I get suspended from Twitter. But Larry David is out here with just dropping his dick on the table with so much talent, so much money, and such a resume that he can do and say whatever he wants. And people, you know what they do? They just fucking laugh at it. Same thing with Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They are so beyond criticism and concern that they're going to get canceled and worrying about sponsors or ratings or the networks or the executives. They just do what's funny. And I don't know whether the advocacy groups and the blue check brigade and the people who fight against all this kind of shit, I don't know whether they don't watch those shows. Hard to imagine they don't, right? I mean, those shows are so dominant, so successful. 25 seasons combined between the two, Sunny and Curb. Like, they have to watch, right? So is it that those guys do it in such a funny way that people just laugh? Like, I'll be the first to say I'm certainly not the most talented comedian in the world. So when I do it, it's like, I'm very blunt. I'm just hitting you over the head with the hammer. There's no subtlety to it. There's no nuance to it. And maybe that's why people get mad about me. Maybe, Logan Paul going into a forest with someone on screen is way too in your face, and that's why they get mad about it. So is Larry David just that much funnier? Are they not watching? Do they know that they're just beat? Like, are there people out there saying, like, boy, I'd love to take down Larry David, but there's no fucking way we could do that because he's just so well-liked and so well-respected and so good at this that there's no way we could even cancel him if we wanted to. Do they just know that they're beat by Larry? Or are they just so goddamn lame, the same people who can't take the jokes, who don't watch the sports, who don't get the dynamic, maybe they just don't even watch? All I know is that there's a handful of guys out there, from Larry David to Rob McElhaney to Glenn Howerton, Charlie Day. Those guys are so good at this that they can touch all of those third-rail topics. They can go all the lightning rod topics. And people just go back to the old way and laugh. And I maybe it's experience, talent, luck. I don't know what it is, but the fact that they get away with it is so fucking awesome and so important to anybody who's writing a show or a blog or doing a podcast or doing content. Like, there are still examples of people who are pushing the envelope and being funny and saying things that you're not supposed to say. And the fact that it was the Jets and the Knicks combined with the type of jokes I make on the shows that I like all coming together, it was, I swear to God, it was like Larry David made that episode for me. The amount of people who have been tagging me being like, have you seen this week's Curb? You have to watch this. He's got to come on the goddamn Jets, which is, ridiculous, by the way. Out of all, there are certain things at Barstool I have learned to, don't doubt it. Anything's possible now. Dave's got $100 million. Celebrities come through the door every day. There is a 0% chance. 0.0.0. We got, we're borderline coworkers with Alex Rodriguez. That should be enough for me to say anything's possible, right? There's one thing that's impossible in this world, and it's the thought that Larry David would ever stoop down to do internet content like the goddamn Jets. But he did it in his way, in a Curb Your Enthusiasm way that speaks to everything I've been saying for so long, and I feel heard. I feel seen. Larry did it for us. For everybody out there suffering through another Sunday with the Jets or another spring training with the Mets or watching this latest debacle with Spike Lee and the Knicks, every day, every week, every month, every season, there is something with these asshole franchises, and I've been spitting about it for a decade, and all the fans on social media and at the park and watching TV, all of us have been screaming about it, but for someone on Larry David's level to execute it the way he did on his show was nothing short of fucking incredible. And I need more of it. And because you know what? I can scream till I'm blue in the face, and I don't think any of those, none of those franchises even take note. But if you're the Jets right now, and you realize that you were like the enormous butt of the biggest show's joke, maybe then you'll start to think to yourself, we got to clean up our fucking act. We can't have Larry David out here creating characters who murder themselves because we are such an embarrassing franchise. Maybe Larry David is our one true hope. It's a cross I've been bearing, but one that I know it's a futile fight. There's no end light at the end of this tunnel. Nothing's going to change. Maybe Larry David can change things. I need him to start talking more about the Jets. I need him to start talking more about the Mets and the Knicks, because maybe, just maybe, that level of embarrassment will get those franchises to change. Until then, we're going to keep watching. We're going to keep up with our suicidal thoughts, and we're going to keep watching guys like Larry David because they're making the jokes that we all want to make and can't anymore, so keep doing your thing.